This research project will discuss the struggles immigrants face in the United States, focusing on the aspects of nationalism and linguistic discrimination. Additionally, it will analyze the benefits of immigration on American culture and society. Immigration has been an issue for the United States since the beginning of time. What exactly is an immigrant anyway? Most of our families migrated to this continent in some form. There are 4 immigration categories in the United States: citizens, residents, non-immigrants, and undocumented. Each of these groups face struggles relating to nationalism. Nationalism is the identification with one's own nation in support of its interest, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interests of other nations. The United States is known as the land of the free and the land of opportunity. In 2018, the federal government estimated that there were 11.4 million unauthorized immigrants in the country. In the article Nationalism and Immigration Control by Ko Ji-young, he states, survey data find that those people who have strong national attachment and display feelings of national superiority are more likely to have an unfavorable attitude toward immigration. Nationalistic views have had a resurgence recently with the election of former President Trump and his views on immigration increasing the struggles. Upon entering the country, immigrants are faced with struggles of finding a house, securing a job, and finding a school for their children. Nationalistic views increase the stress on those immigrants trying to find a way of life in America. Ko Ji-young also stated, however, regardless of its form and expression, the fundamental essence of nationalism lies in the distinction between us and them. A nation-state is imagined as a community that has a distinctive boundary between members and outsiders, and thus not all people are welcome in the imagined community. Many immigrants do not feel included in society because of the nationalism that exists in this country. Nationalism can take on many different forms, whether socially, politically, and economically. As stated by Ali Bedad in his article Nationalism and Immigration to the United States, the conventional liberal wisdom about the public reaction to immigration is, when things are going well and there's a shortage of labor, people either look the other way or are actively supportive of bringing cheaper labor into the United States. But when jobs are tight and the cost of supporting people goes up, then we suddenly redo the calculus. Americans support immigrants when America is doing well economically, but once we begin to face a recession, we blame immigrants for our problems. Linguistic discrimination is unfair treatment which is based on the use of language and characteristics of speech, including first language, accent, perceived size of vocabulary, whether the speaker uses complex and varied words, modality, and syntax. One of the hardest challenges immigrants face upon entering the United States is learning our language. English is one of the hardest languages to learn, and even once they learn the language, sometimes they are not fluent or they still have an accent from their native country. Often immigrants face discrimination because of their accents, or yet most Americans aren't bilingual. English-speaking Americans also allow their implicit bias to contribute to language discrimination. In the article, The Pervasive Problem of Linguistic Racism, written by Christine Rowe, she states, just seeing an Asian face makes some Americans consider that speakers' English to be hard to understand, regardless of how they actually speak or where they were born. This is a subtle way that those affected by language discrimination face on a daily basis. Linguistic discrimination exists in many classrooms across the United States. Frequently, these children are bullied, harassed, or even assaulted for English not being their first language. English-only policy and rhetoric are rooted in historical racism and the white supremacy culture of the U.S. Many states are even reducing their bilingual courses and forcing those students to speak English only or they won't perform well in the classroom. In addition, there is also language discrimination in the workplace. Some businesses even implement the English-only policy, which prohibits many immigrants from being hireable. According to the California legal aid work by Brianna Crawford, speak English-only rules may also violate civil rights laws if they are imposed only on one group of employees but not others. It is important to be aware of language discrimination because it is easy to overlook, but it violates your civil rights. Even discrimination based on accents can affect those in the work setting. Moreover, in the article, Crawford continues to say, discrimination because of accent may also violate an employee's civil rights in general. If action against an employee because of her accent, it must be able to show that the accent materially interferes with job performance. Luckily, there are laws in place to prohibit linguistic discrimination once all parties are aware that it's happening. In the Journal of Economic Perspectives, the Economic Benefits from Immigration analyzes the immigration surplus and how immigration generates a decent amount of redistribution of wealth to the United States economy. The specific amount is dependent on the amount of skilled natives versus unskilled natives, since that determines average income being earned. Due to the skill levels of immigrants that are coming to the United States, the amount of economic benefit that America gains is about $7 billion annually. This, according to G. Boras, this number could be exponentially increased if the United States had a policy that allowed and/or attracted more skilled immigrants. That is directly correlated with the fact that the United States knowingly pays immigrant workers or workers simply separate from white males less. Even though it sounds like exploitation, it is the reality that we live in while living in a capitalist country. For that specific reason, the economic benefits that immigrants provide for Americans is exceptionally attractive. It not only fills low-level positions Americans don't want to work, immigrants can also fill higher-level positions for less pay if the United States has a policy in place for them to enter. In addition to this data, according to Immigration Benefits America by Stephen Gould, since the U.S. economy demands many more persons with these skills than exist among the native-born, immigrants provide a considerable fraction of the human capital that allows American companies to function and generate good jobs. 40% of PhD scientists working in the U.S. are foreign-born. This information provides exceptional reasoning on how immigrants benefit the United States economically. Furthermore, aside from a financial standpoint, immigrants also labor in an environment for diversity, growth, and social expansion. Diversity allows for us to build stronger bonds with people of other cultures and the adaptability to accept others' differences. That includes the ability for the United States to communicate with other countries. As we learn in this course, being more diversity conscious has endless benefits, including being a great team leader and being more self-aware as an individual. Immigrants bring an unparalleled value to the table when it comes to their culture that Americans can incorporate into their own culture as well. A common example is Taco Tuesday. Tacos originated from Mexico, which is a native country for many immigrants. The economic benefits that accompany immigrants entering the United States are equally as impactful as the societal and cultural satisfactions. To further elaborate on the benefits that immigrants have within the United States, Michael Verkuyen Erkomer at Utrecht University states, migration and the resulting diversity raise new questions for the field, introduce new topics of research, and challenge conventional ways of thinking. The growing social psychological research on dual multiple identities, acculturation processes, and minority religion, such as immigrants who follow Islam, are good examples of the impact that immigration questions have on social psychology. Not only does the presence of immigrants physically increase the welfare of Americans, but they also provide psychological benefits. With the evidence provided, it is evident that the negative connotation of immigrants in the United States is based on an illogical, racist American consensus with no factual statistics to support the negative statements. It is based on pure emotion and nationalistic opinion. This article, The Benefits of Studying Immigration for Social Psychology, discusses the process of citizenship and how that is a determinant factor that an immigrant now belongs to the United States, but they are still seen as immigrants, which attests to the psychological hold that the American society has against immigrants regardless of their official status.